Hello. Here we
Hello.
are. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan is getting ready for his race, the Tailgate Throwdown, which I also have been getting ready for because I have to head that direction tomorrow, as does Ryan. He's leaving earlier in the morning than I am because I have too much stuff to do. But the car is loaded with all of the live stream equipment and everything because I'll be out there announcing with Ryan and live streaming the race. So that should be fun up in Newport, Arkansas. So if you are anywhere near Newport, Arkansas, which is sort of the middle of nowhere, then come on out. We'll be there Friday all day, and then Saturday all day. Friday evening is going to be the big grudge night, which is wide open. Anybody wants to race anybody for any amount, and it's pretty cool. So definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. I understand congratulations are in order, Aaron. One of your customers just won Top Sportsman over at the Motorplex right down the street from me, right?
Yep.
Cool.
What? And that was from the
be
continued Tulsa divisional, right?
Yeah, he should be number one in points in the country right now. So
Nice.
he's on a tear. Yeah.
What kind of car?
It's the Cobalt Top Sportsman car.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome. It's a big deal.
Sponsored
Top
by-
Sportsman's a hard class to to do really well in. I mean, it's essentially really fast bracket racing.
Yes.
And but fast. I mean, like legit fast. And you have to qualify by being fast enough as well. So it's pretty cool to be deep in the fours. For a bracket car is pretty cool. It's a fun deal for sure.
Yeah. No, he was down like 658.
Yeah, that's right, because they're running quarter mile there. That's right. So yeah, to run mid 650s as a bracket car is
Damn.
pretty bad.
Yeah, that's moving.
And what's the mile an hour in that thing? I mean, got to be close to 200, right? 170,
It's over
180.
200. No, it's
Is
over
it over
200.
200? Okay.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are running that quick and they slow them way down at the stripe. I mean, I say way down, still doing 180. And some of these guys are just, it's nuts. I mean, the bracket race world nowadays is absolutely, it's insane.
And-
I mean, you have
And on top of that,
dragsters that are doing over 200,
yeah, it's a nitrous motor too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's awesome. So, okay, then let me ask you this, since we're on the topic, it's your customer. Let's talk a little bit about some rear end stuff, because I have a question that I got asked this just the other day, actually. And hello to Edward and Barn and Doug and everybody that has chimed in today. We appreciate it. The other day, a guy asked me, "Do you set up, or is the rear end of the car any different for a nitrous car versus a turbo car versus a blower car, etc.?" And so the only thing that I told him was, obviously gear ratios, can be different based on the combination, right? Because some, turbo cars tend to run a higher, meaning lower numerically, rear end gear than a lot of other stuff because they have so much torque, and that's part of where they get their big mile an hour. But is there anything else that's set up different? I mean, do you do clearances different or anything for a a blower versus? No, it's all the same, right? Because they're still just letting go of a button.
It's all the same. Your power level dependent. So you run a normal 9-inch pro gear up to a certain power level, and after that power level, you go to the 9.5-inch pro gear, and after that power level, you go to the 10-inch pro gear.
Right.
So, I mean, you can have a nitrous car that makes 1,400 horsepower, and my threshold is normally after 1,200, you go to a 9.5 gear.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Above 2,500, you go to the 10-inch gear.
Right. Okay, gotcha. And then what are they running now in like alcohol funny cars and them? Are they running a 12-inch ring gear in those things?
They're running top loaders and those things.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. So,
yeah,
which looks like, if you don't know what a top loader is and you're watching right now, it literally looks like you took a regular like 8.8 or 12 bolt, housing with a cover on the back and flipped it up so that the cover was straight up, and that's how it's in the car, and they drop all the ring gear and everything in there that way. The spool. And the spool on those is different. I guess it depends on the application, but they can be splined all the way through the center and have one solid live axle that gets shoved in all the way from one side straight through to the other. So, and then they're floaters as well. Do you recommend a floater at a certain power level versus another?
It's weight dependent and also horsepower, but normally after about the low 2000s, you really should be considering a floater.
Gotcha.
I mean, guys ran flanged axles, 3,000 horsepower.
Jay Leitenberg is sending me a text message. Oh, he says, Crosby's speaker is on and echoing through the stream. Your Crosby, your speaker on your laptop is on also.
No, it's not.
Oh. Okay. Well, so interesting topic since we're talking about rear end components. We're going to hop around a little bit. But, I don't know who that was.
Sorry, I had a train.
Oh, gotcha. But we're gonna talk about a couple of things tonight. We're gonna talk about NPK. This is gonna be a short show. We're doing 1 hour and that's it. We're gonna talk about NPK because NPK season 6 is now on TV, which I don't know that anybody even expected that to actually happen or not. But then so we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Tailgate Throwdown, which I already mentioned. But right now, since we're on the topic of rear ends, the big news in the industry, the thing everybody has been talking about the last week or so, I guess a week, has been that Motion Raceworks bought Mark Williams Enterprises.
Oh, really?
And and I think that that was a big surprise to most people in the industry. I think because the thought of Mark Williams selling is just seems weird, because it's been a staple for so long, and Mark Williams has always been owned by Mark Williams, and he and his wife have run this thing forever, and he has always been hands on, and for him to be leaving the industry, quote unquote, I think was a surprise to a lot of people. I also think that there was maybe a little bit of surprise that it was Motion that bought him, and that's not a dig on Motion. I think that people probably think that Mark Williams is bigger than it is, and maybe that Motion is smaller than it is. I don't know, but I did hear several people that were surprised. I'll tell you that my 2 cents. Mark Williams, that brand is, obviously epic. They have built amazing products for a long, long time. They do things differently than a lot of other companies. I can tell you from firsthand experience being there and seeing stuff go together, that their carbon drive shafts are put together different than maybe not all of the other carbon drive shafts, because I don't know how everybody puts theirs together, but definitely different than some of the other carbon drive shafts that are, in the industry. And I know that, they're very particular. Their stuff is ultra precise, and they build really, really nice stuff. They're one of those super upper echelon brands, I think, in my opinion, along with like Lamb Components. Strange, some of their product line, I think, falls in that same level, but I definitely think that you're talking about, very high-end brand. Maybe not the volume that somebody like Strange does because they're, very large, but definitely the upper echelon, stuff for sure.
I mean, they've been known as the class of the racing third members and drive shafts for years.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think that when you look at a brand like that, I don't know how old Mark is now, but he's got to be 80, right? I mean, I don't know, but I'm gonna say it's got to be somewhere around there, right?
83, I think.
83.
Really?
Okay, yeah. James Rutherford, putting his 2 cents in, says top shelf stuff. Run lots of it in the Rutherford fleet, which there's a hell of a fleet there, let me tell you. By the way, the Rutherford family, the winningest family in drag racing in 2025. Call me a liar. Tell me who's more winning this year than the Rutherford family as a whole, and I need numbers to prove it because I think they are the winningest family in drag racing, or in racing period actually this year, because it's not just been drag racing that they've been doing, but at the drags, dude, everybody in the family has done well. So I think that one of the big things with Mark Williams has been that there isn't anything you can do that would surprise them, as far as you can't call them and go, oh, I need to do this, and it be something that's outside of their wheelhouse. And if it is, you're talking about all the way up to like a Chrisman rear end for a top fuel car or something, right? I think that they've also done so many innovative things over the years. I know that in my 72 Nova had one of Mark's modular rear ends. Do you remember those? That was the 12 volt, big giant cast aluminum center. And then it had bells that bolted on, and it could have aluminum tubes. It could have it could have all the things, steel axle tubes, all kinds of stuff. It was a pretty trick idea, and it looked really, really neat. It wasn't the end all be all, but it sure was trick,
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever worked on one of those, Aaron?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
It's been a long time for me too.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the first time I'd seen them like in the magazines, right? And underneath cars that were super cool, but I'd never, touched one until I bought that Nova, and that's what I had under it. But, what do you think, Aaron? What do you think of the whole merger? The word on the street, and based on what Doug from Motion has put out there publicly, was that that this was another one of the examples of a great company with a great brand and great products that was in danger of going the way of private equity if Mark and them decided to retire and somebody else in the industry didn't buy them up. And obviously Motion is way against private equity firms in the industry, and so Doug felt like this was a good one to match with what they want to do with Motion going forward. So
Are they gonna?
So it ought to be an interesting fit.
Are they gonna put it all under one roof?
My understanding, based on what has been posted, is that it's going to stay in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it'll still be the Mark Williams brand, will be separate, just like TBM brakes and Rife Sensor. They're all part of the Motion family, but it will be its own thing and stay in Colorado, at least for the foreseeable future, anyway.
I think that it's a good thing. But at the same time, and you and I had this discussion, they don't have anything that's technical really in their product line right now. Rear end stuff and figuring out what a customer needs for rear end and brakes and housing and everything else, it's very technical. And I think that it's critical they keep their staff intact.
Right. Oh, yeah, the staff there at
Yep.
that's at Mark Williams now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, because that's a very, I think there are some people that probably think that rear end stuff is all pretty straightforward. But the reality is the um, the reality is that if you really get into the weeds and you're really looking at all of the details on a rear end, if you're ordering a custom rear end or parts for your custom rear end, there's a lot going on. I mean, you used to work at Quick Performance. Obviously, you own Texas Precision Performance now, and so what you focus on is the middle of the rear end, doing differentials and spools and axles and center sections and all that. But you've got a ton of experience with bearing offsets and all of those things too that have to be taken into account depending on brake packages and whether it's a floater rear end, whether it's a flanged axle setup. I mean, there's a ton that goes into all of that, which is why when you call one of these rear end companies, whether it's Mark Williams or Mosier or any of them, you're getting like a guy that's asking you a bunch of detailed questions.
I mean, the first three questions are basically, what's the vehicle? What's it being used for? What's the horsepower level? And then also vehicle weight comes into consideration too.
Yeah. I know that, like, obviously there's a jillion different, axles that you can get depending on the application, right? The number of splines is going to dictate the size of the axle, right? The more splines, the bigger the axle is. But there's also just a ton when it comes to what is available for what you have, right? I mean, everybody thinks a 9-inch is a 9-inch is a 9-inch, and in some ways they are, but then you get into 9.5-inch ring gears and all of that as well. And also, if you're going with a differential, a spool honestly is the easiest way you can go. But if you start getting into differentials and anything else, there's a lot of stuff that, can play into it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, spline count is surface area is what it is. So if you have the surface area, 40 splines, going to have more surface area. So it's going to be basically have more strength.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Do you have any idea how many people are at Mark Williams? I don't know how many employees they have.
I think that they are probably the smallest of the aftermarket drivetrain companies because they're so niche with, selling to Bickle and all these other guys along with Direct. I mean, I think they're a very low volume company in relation to Strange or Mosier or Quick or,
right.
Kurt.
Yeah, okay, so Grumpy Stiltskin just chimed in and said, when Doug was on the Shake and Bake show last night, he said it is staying in Colorado, and he wants everyone to stay. Said Mark something. I don't know what the rest of the message is, but that's great. I know that I've only been to Mark Williams one time, and it was probably 12 years ago, 10 or 12 years ago. I was there right when they were closing, so I got the full tour from Mark. So I only saw a few things actually getting done. He showed me how everything worked there, but I wasn't watching, actual employees everywhere in the building. I mean, I could imagine that there could be 50 people there, but I also could imagine that it could only be a dozen people and totally do it all. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't
like
be
you said,
surprised.
it depends on the volume. Pardon me?
I said I wouldn't be surprised if it was under 50 people.
Right. Well, and, I think there's a lot of companies in the aftermarket that would surprise people how few people work there or how many work there, both ways. I've been to companies that I went, you have how many people? Like, I would never have thought that they had 50 or 70 employees. And then other companies where I would have imagined they had to have 50 to 70 employees, and in fact only had 5 or 10,
Yep.
So I really think it depends on the manufacturing. A lot of what they do can be automated there as far as CNC and all those things, but it's still labor intensive because you have some big parts that have to get loaded in and out, and I know they do anodizing in house. They do a couple of different coatings in house. They do heat treat in house. They do a bunch of stuff in house, or at least they used to at Mark Williams, that I wouldn't have. It was a little bit surprising to me, honestly, especially because they're in Colorado, and you think the state probably doesn't let them do anything, but apparently you can't. So
they're a lot like T&D. Have you ever toured through T&D Rockers?
I have not, but I would love to. Those guys are awesome.
I can set it up for you. Basically, it's raw material on one side, finished product out the other.
Really?
Yes.
And I love that. Me and Crosby went to Chris Alston's Chassis Works, I don't know, 6-7 years ago now, probably.
I think it was like 8 years ago.
Do what?
It was like 8 years ago. It just popped up on my
did it? Okay.
The other day.
Yeah, we went down there and measured and stuff to do a cage for my Blazer and a back half kit and a bunch of other stuff, and Alston's always been good to me. And it was really fun to go and check everything out there. I mean, it was awesome. What was really interesting was Chris telling us that it was like 90 some odd % of the part numbers that they have are made in that building from raw materials, and that most of the things that are not made in-house, that are, make up the, let's say, 5% or whatever, most of those are fasteners. And they did make some of their own fasteners, but not most of them. And so it was really impressive. The other thing that was impressive about Chassis Works is that it is so family. I mean, like there's
almost to the bad side.
Yeah, there was it was like there was 4 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 generations
4.
there, or whatever, 3 generations, 4 generations. It was awesome to see, and also weird stuff that you would not believe. Like, nobody in their right mind would believe that Chris Alston, who I've known for a very long time and is a spectacular human being, even though he is also one of the biggest assholes you will ever meet in your life. But truly, huh?
I love the guy. He's awesome.
Oh, he is awesome. I love him, and he is one of the most genuinely giving human beings you can meet. And one of the things that would just blow people away, his grandson had, and I don't know what he has now, but at the time had a Scion XB, the little toasters, right? Mm-hmm. And he was heavily involved in sound off competitions, right? Where they're trying to do max SPL stuff. And Chris and his grandson and his son-in-law all work on this Scion together. I mean, like, Chris machined all kinds of stuff for it and all these things, but it was a family project. I mean, he doesn't give a shit about aftermarket stereos or any of that kind of stuff at all, although there are a ton of people that work for him that do. But for him to be working on that, I mean, it had a wall in it and concrete poured inside, and I mean, all the things. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And he's like, he goes, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. This makes no sense, but my grandkid's into it, so I'm going to hang out with my grandkid. I mean, that's literally the only reason he did it. But he was in, and it was pretty awesome.
Well, hey, correct. Sorry, go ahead, Crosby.
No, go ahead.
So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he was the first guy, this company, CNC benders to build cages.
I believe that is true. And what's funny is that they had CNC machines. They still have a couple of manual machines as well, or did. They've since sold those off. A few years ago, they cleared the warehouse of some of the stuff that was just there to be there. But yes, and not only roll cage tubing, but frame rails. Like, dude, we watched them doing all of that, and it's nuts. I mean, I have seen plenty of CNC machines bending, rectangle tubing. Like, I've seen it a bunch of times. But there is a different thing. Like, if you watch Cornfield Customs on YouTube, that dude is a badass. He's a killer metal shaper, builds amazing hot rods, and he does custom frame rails. He does the frame rails. I don't know how many sets he does a week. It may be 1, it may be 10, I don't know, but he does them on a one-off basis.
Last Saturday, he was doing like 20 sets.
Oh, like 20 sets. Okay, there you go. Oh, on one of his lives?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he was
at
showing
Alston,
the ones he
they
had on
do,
the board done.
20 sets in a day is
Yeah,
just a normal boom, 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 boom.
That was on
they are
Saturday.
they are bending tubing like mad, and it is really cool because the whole process is, I'm going to say it's automated, and it is, but like from the cutting, so everything is precise, right? Because you don't want to have any waste, or as little as possible. So you cut the tubing, whether it's rectangular or round, using automated sawing equipment, right, that automatically is measuring and chopping tubing. And that's important because having an inch extra on each end of a piece of tubing, okay, not a big deal. But if you have 6 or 8 inches that you cut off, well, then you're wasting tubing, and they plan out all of their cuts based on, like, so if it's round tubing, they cut certain things together. So they may cut, product A's tubing and product B's tubing together, or it could be A and G, right? You don't know, because it's the things that are going to go together best. So if you have a 24-foot stick of tubing, or a 20-foot stick of tubing, whatever it is, you don't want to cut a 12-foot piece and then end up with an 8-footer that's of no use in anything else, right? You want to make sure that you're getting as much out of each stick of tubing. So all of that gets planned as to what gets cut when, and then all the bending, like I said, it's all CNC. They are loading, when we were there, you pull in one of the doors and the bending's on the right side. And they had racks of, let's say 40 tubes that were sitting, or 60 tubes in a big hopper, and it would drop that tube down, it would grab it and put it in the precise spot in the bender, and then run it through the mandrel, and then spit it out the other end, and a guy would pick it up and stack it, right? Because it's all bent. They would nest them all together, and it was impressive. It really was.
There's a tubing cutter called the Dragon, and you can input whatever your tubing length is, and then all your lengths of cut, and it will just basically spit it all out and tosses it in a hopper.
Oh yeah.
So Quick has one of those. So basically, all your tube lengths for the day that you're going to build, all the housings you're going to build, you can basically just input it all, walk away, and it just cuts it, feeds it, cuts it, feeds it, and it water cools through the center of the tube when it cuts.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Well,
my buddy Atwell owns a mandrel bending company that mandrel bends way more stuff than anybody else that mandrel bends anything. They do, every Jeep roll bar, every Jeep bumper, every fuel line for every Mustang, every brake line for every Mustang, every vent tube for every, literally just millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of parts every year. And it's nuts because he also is in the machine business, so he sells the machines that do mandrel bending and all of that as well. And there is so much, like, as far as expense in some of those machines, you know, and that's a big outlay. I mean, companies have to be committed to that stuff. And also at Alston, like, there are all kinds of things that are splined that they broach, okay? And if you're not familiar with broach, people that are out there watching, so if you think of an axle, it's got splines on it. It depends on the splines and the material as how those are put in. They could be ground, they could be rolled into the material, whatever. But if you have splines on the inside of a part, then they have to be done with a broach, which if you think of a broach as like a saw blade that moves really slow and the teeth get bigger and bigger till it gets to the final shape, and it literally is pushing through and cutting a spline in, and then the thing moves and it does it again and again and again. And they were broaching lengths of tubing. Remember that, Crosby?
Mm-hmm.
Over by the bathrooms at that end of the opposite end of the tubing benders. And they were broaching, like, again, like a 10-foot long or 15-foot long piece of material, maybe not that, but long, that they then would cut
like 10
right
feet.
into whatever, like for couplers and for steering U-joints and all kinds of stuff like that. It was impressive. It is, manufacturing facilities like that are cool as hell.
And he also had those EDMs over there cutting the rack components, remember?
Oh, yeah.
He was cutting the rack with the EDM.
Yep. There's the only things they don't do in-house, like I said, are like, you know, fasteners, and then I was going to say spindles. They're cast spindles or forged spindles they don't do, but they do. Also, they have a CNC spindle that they make that they do in-house.
Machine spindles.
That's a forging, and then they machine it from there.
And then the stub for that is 4140 stub that they machine.
Yeah. They're like a new like a new Corvette style hub bolts in the middle of them and that kind of stuff. You know, they're pretty cool. So here's my question on the Mark Williams in Motion deal. We know it's a super technical product line, and so they're smart to keep everybody they can, right? That is committed to staying with the company.
And you want to keep
that's an amazing resource.
You want to keep the people that help build the company too.
Oh, agreed. Well, but here's my thing. If you're somebody that's buying Mark Williams, knowing the history and all that, do you go, okay, we just want to keep it great and we're going to, maybe grab more market share or whatever? Or do you start developing new things? And is there anything new that can be developed in the drivetrain world? I mean, Aaron, you're better qualified to say that probably than anybody. What do you think?
They partnered up on making the 11-inch rear end. I think it was with Carmack or somebody else. I can't remember who it was. That was pretty revolutionary, a few years back for the pro mod world, going to the 11-inch gear. There's still products to be developed. And there's also, they have their master line of axles, which is their budget axles, which is more in line with the Strange and Mosier and stuff like that. They could do a way better job of marketing, and I think that's where Doug and Motion come in, is they're going to be able to market it a lot better. Mark Williams really didn't push for market share. They had their niche, they had their market, and they just stayed in their lane. And I think that Doug and the Motion team will get them out of that lane and kind of pushing forward to grow the company. And we talked about this. Basically, people get stagnant when they own companies. You need a new voice.
Yeah, what's interesting about it to me is that if you look at that like you said, the Masterline axles, right? If you look at all the axles that they sell from, 40 spline crazy gun drilled, super lightened, flanges, all the things, and all the way down to Masterline stuff. I mean, you're right. Like that could be or should be a huge moneymaker because those axles, like in most cases, at least back in the day, you could buy a pair of those axles for like barely any more money than stock replacement stuff. And they're considerably better than a stock replacement axle, So you'd think that if they did it right, that every hot rod on the planet and every street strip car should have a set of them in them. And I mean, I know that they can buy, equivalents from, Quick or I don't know if Strange has anything like that. I just don't know. I know Mosier does though. Mosier does for sure. I think that if you look at Mosier, historically speaking, Mosier has been way bigger in the street market than the race market until recent years. I think that they've expanded a lot in the race market in the last 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
But, because the street market, dude, Mosier has been the jam. I mean, the 12 bolt that's in Daphne's car has, Torino or Big Ford, whatever you want to call them, ends on it, and 33 spline axles with a Detroit True Track in it, and that Mosier did. I sent the axle housing to them. I'd had that thing sitting on a shelf forever, like way, way, way longer than we'd owned the car. And so I sent the 12, because it came with the 10 bolt. I sent the 12 bolt to them. They put the ends on it, built, did the axles, all that. Put the Detroit True Track in it. I had a factory style posi unit I was going to put in it, and they were like, yeah, no, you're not. And I'm so glad. So they put the True Track in it and everything, and, and a fresh set of gears and everything. And, it's been bulletproof, which is unbelievable with the weight of that car and the amount of power we put through it, all these years and so many miles and stuff on it too. But, but they didn't even bat an eye when I was like, okay, this thing's going to weigh over 4,000 pounds and make over 1,000 horsepower and get driven every day and go on drag and drives and they were like, yeah, okay, hold my beer. I mean, it was no big deal for them at all.
Mosier is probably the largest aftermarket drivetrain company out there, would be my guess. I haven't toured Mosier, but as far as market share, I think they're number one. I think Mark Williams is probably number 4, maybe 5, as far as market share, because they just don't do enough of the street stuff.
Right. Do you think that, like you said, though, that'll be the big thing that Motion can bring to the table with them, is really to grow that street strip sort of market?
That's the low-hanging fruit. If I was the manager at Mark Williams, got inserted in there, the first thing I would do is go after the sportsman racer. Yeah. And when I say the sportsman racer, I'm not going after the top sportsman racer. I'm going after the bracket racer.
You're going after regular bracket racers, maybe stock eliminator and super stock, although those guys are probably already running some of that. But yeah, I'm with you. Like your average index guy, your average local bracket racer, your Summit Series guys, all of those dudes. Yeah, that's who I would be going after too.
It's low hanging fruit, and then on top of that, you go after some of the street rod stuff, Pro Street, that sort of thing. Again, the Master line is perfect for that.
Oh yeah. John DeJong in the house. Hey John, hit me up, dude. I need. I literally was just talking about you today, so send me a message tomorrow. And if you got some time, give me a call. Say early afternoon tomorrow if you have some time. I want to talk to you about Streetcar Super Nationals. So give me a shout. Monday Morning Racer in the house as well. Michael Curtis here. Good to see you guys.
I got a good one for you, Chad.
We're already like 45 minutes into our hour, so let's go NPK Season 6. I can't believe it's on TV.
I can't either, but I had a 30-second commercial for my shirt on episode 1, so.
Well, that's cool.
Hell yes. That's awesome. You sent me the screenshot. That's great. I really was not sure that this show would end up on the air. Which I know sounds funny, but Discovery owned everything. They owned all the footage. They owned all the things. They owned the show, all those things. But they had fully, they cut that thing out. Like, it was done. So I wasn't sure where it was in the editing process. And it is not unusual in the TV world for a show to get literally just shoved on a shelf because it wasn't edited before it got all the way cut. And that seems like a waste, right? You're like, why wouldn't you still run the show? You already paid to make it. Man, the editing side of things is a big expense on a TV show. And so if they've decided that it's just not happening, it would not have surprised me if it never saw the light of day. Dave, Comstock, Daddy Dave had said to me a couple of times that he, was pretty sure it was going to end up out there. But I'm glad to hear it, right? There's a lot of guys that, like you, that were supporting a lot of racers and getting this, next or final season, I guess, out there is cool. So I'm glad to see it.
Where is it going to air?
It aired on Monday on Discovery.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still on Discovery. So I assume you'll be able to watch it on the Motor Trend app. Is that still out there, the Motor Trend app? I assume it is. I don't know.
It became Discovery Plus.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right,
so it's just a channel on Discovery Plus. That's right. Yeah. So I'm sure it's there too.
I think they shelved it because they got to write it off because they didn't air it for so long. And it's like an inventory item, and basically they can bring it back at no cost and air it. So they already got the right.
Yeah, and I know, I'll bet it's on HBO Max also. I know that I have HBO Max, and I know that a bunch of the Discovery stuff is on there, and I think the old Street Outlaws stuff is there, but I'm not sure. Now, is it true that they are going to bring back the actual Street Outlaws show, or on the old OG street racing one, or is that not happening, or do you know anything about it?
I know nothing.
I haven't heard anything.
I mean, it's right now everybody's doing a traveling roadshow like a carny and doing match races and different tracks, and
right.
So I mean, I would love for the OG show to come back, but it needs to come back like the first 3 seasons where it's realistic vehicles that you and I can build and just go out and street race, not glorified steel roof and quarter pro mods.
Right. Well, now, word on the street is that the IHRA is going to have, a Street Outlaws class for 2026, and it will be for those steel roof and quarters cars, to give them another home to race at. I think it would be awesome, and this is just me saying this, I have not ever said this out loud before, but I think what would be really awesome is if the IHRA gives these guys a place to go and race, and they do this. I think because the production company that the IHRA has in order to do their TV show is really good. I think it would be awesome if they did, let's say, their Friday, Saturday IHRA race where all of the No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws, guys are racing. And then on Sunday and or Monday, they rented a local road and filmed Street Outlaws on the street everywhere that they're going to for the IHRA Nitro Outlaw Nitro series. I think that would be awesome. And then they could be racing locals, people that are in wherever they are at, right? Whether it's Ohio or whatever. I think that would be pretty cool. So if anybody from IHRA is listening right now, Dougie Fresh, take my idea, utilize it, let me be a part of it somehow.
They already stole our idea for the fuel altereds.
Yes, that's true. We talked about fuel altereds, and the next week they added fuel altereds. That's right.
Yeah.
Barnes says Kai is going pro mod racing. I had heard that. Yeah. Doug says I heard Kai is selling his entire race production, and I've heard that he is selling everything to go actual pro mod racing, instead of racing his other cars at pro mod events. Which, why wouldn't you when IHRA is making pro mod amazing again? And if any of the NHRA guys come racing at an IHRA race, it would be awesome. Edward says Ryan Martin's building a pro mod right now. I had heard that as well. There's no reason why they shouldn't, so I think it's awesome.
No, that's killer. I mean, it's good for drag racing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, if anybody out there watching has questions, now is the time. Put them in the comments, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. If you put them in the comments, I will see them, and
I got
one. Respond.
I got one.
Yeah.
The Stampede of Speed is the biggest drag race that NHRA has now over Gainesville or Pomona. It's the biggest event. It's maybe not New York. The Stampede of Speed.
Oh yes.
Is the biggest NHRA event, maybe short of the U.S. Nationals, but it's the biggest event. Prove me wrong.
It's nuts. It's bigger this year than ever. They just keep making it bigger. They ran a divisional race, a normal divisional, on Monday and Tuesday, and finished the Tulsa divisional. Okay. And today, the national event started. It is on, and oh, by the way, concerts.
No, Jags All-Stars started.
Do what?
Jags All-Stars starts tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Jake's All-Stars starts tomorrow. That's right. There's, like I said, though, there's concerts, there's a rodeo, there's all these things. And, oh, by the way, NHRA absolutely did not want them to do this when they first started, whatever it was, 5-6 years ago now. They did not think this was okay. They did not want it to be a thing. And the racetrack at Ennis, Metroplex or Motorplex said, we're doing it. You're wrong. This is going to be awesome. And it is. It is an insane show. And it draws huge crowds. And they make way more money, which is awesome, because racetracks need to make money. I do not begrudge them that at all. Like, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if NHRA says not to do it, it's probably a good idea to do it. Just saying.
You're not wrong, Crosby.
Right.
I do have a question for Chad, though.
Yeah.
How many employees are you going to have in this garage?
How many employees am I going to have in this garage?
Yeah.
Enough to need that many lockers? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
The lockers are to store tools and stuff. It's like cordless tools, you know what I mean? Charging stations, all the things. So, yeah, they're nicer than cabinets by a lot. They're not too deep, so you can't lose shit inside them.
And you can't stuff too many things in there to lose them.
That's not the only set in the shop either. Well, that's two sets.
Me.
That's 2 sets, and then there's a set in the bathroom as well. So, but the set in the bathroom is in the shower room. So, if you were here and you needed a place to put your stuff, you got a spot. So.
Then I have a question for Aaron too. Can you still smell gear oil or not?
No. No. Every once in a while, I'll get a stinky, like, old school diff that some guy brings in, and I can smell that. But no, between working at Yukon for 13 years and then being around it for 25 years, I literally cannot smell gear oil.
Yep.
I have to tell you, unless you get one that's just burned up real bad, I don't think gear oil smells nearly as bad as clutch or brakes. Clutch and brakes smell way worse than gear oil, in my opinion.
No. The worst is if you ever cook a transmission, it
There it
basically
is.
has sulfur smell.
Yep.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
old-
ATF that's
and-
burnt. Yes.
And old California gasoline.
Well, yeah.
I think that it's funny because everybody has like their, oh no, gear oil's the worst one, or clutch or brake or whatever, right? Like everybody has the thing that just drives them absolutely nuts. That Mike Cunningham says friction modifier is horrible, but gear oil ain't bad. And that is the truth. The reality is that it's the oil itself is not as bad. It's the GM additive that we used to have to put in posi units. That's the stuff that just horrible.
That's why the old ones were worse, because it was true whale oil was friction modifier.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And that stuff just freaking reeked.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what a lot of the automatic transmission companies used for ATF back in the day. Jaguar used it up until the 60s.
Ugh.
So, yeah, it was horrible. The first one I ever took apart to put a small block in. Ugh.
I like Edward's post there. Did you see that?
Burnt oil of any kind smells way worse than you want it to. None of it's supposed to be that way. It's like ATF smells nice and sweet when it ain't burned up, but when it's burned up, yeah, not good.
Did you see Edward's comment there? By the way, John Ryan, it's not me. It's Chad's mic.
Yeah, I think it is, because I don't have my mic and my headset like normal.
When you turn off your mic, I don't have an echo.
Oh, gotcha.
See? No echo. Hello?
How about me? No echo.
Yep. No echo. Yeah, you don't have an echo. It's Chad's mic.
There you go.
Chad.
Yeah, because I did not get home in time, so I don't have my mic or my headset or any of the normal things. So, all right, boys. We are almost done, so let's wrap this up. If you got anything else, we need to go with it right now.
Well, Edward asked for Crosby to give us a tour of the gasser back there, and I would love to see that too.
The gasser?
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to ask.
That is badass.
That is Danny Santoro's car. The car was built by Ron Jr. Blanchard over at Performance Carburetor in Ontario.
Okay, I figured it was theirs.
Yep. And it's here to build a set of headers.
Nice.
So, doing a full stainless steel exhaust system on it. So hopefully, if I get flanges tomorrow, by the end of the weekend, I'll have a set of headers built. I got all the collectors all mocked up on the car, so I can build everything to the collector and go from there.
You mean they didn't want to just buy a set of off-the-shelf fender well exits?
He actually has a set of headers for it, but when they put this motor in it with the Brodex heads on it, the ports are a little bit higher for some reason. So that tube that's got all the blue tape all over it is about halfway into 5 and 7, and I think 2 and 8 on the passenger side.
Are you making equal length?
Well, I don't really get into equal length unless somebody really, really wants it. The reason why, I mean, I've seen so many different dyno tests and everything, and it really doesn't make that much difference unless you're going for absolute little minute horsepower.
Yeah, the equal length headers are like the ideal camshaft. Sure, it's better. Is it going to make a difference for the average person? No.
No.
And the reality is, all you have to do is look at every pro race car out there, and you'll see that's not the case because, like, FYI, the zoomies on nearly every pro mod have three tubes are longer than one tube and all the things, and none of them are the same length with rare exception and all of that. So yeah, isn't that important. And nothing that you can't make up with a little more nitrous or a little more boost or whatever. So,
it does make a difference at high RPM.
Pardon
Yes,
me?
it does.
It makes a difference at high RPM, like Formula One stuff, and
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Oh, it definitely makes a difference in, like, if you're trying to go to the nth degree, there is no doubt. But for your average hot rodder and stuff, nah. And the other thing is that it's just totally dependent on the application. It's like, okay, so if you can't fit an equal length header in here, does that mean you're just not going to build the car?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, I mean, I've literally seen that where guys are like, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck now because I can't build an equal length header. It's like, so just put a header in it, like, for the love of God.
Well, and I've seen a lot of guys build headers that are just way too big for the motor. You can't fill the tube up, so they have no low end torque, and they never see the RPM range to fill the tube up. So it's a waste of time. So you can't even get the air through the pipe right. So what difference does it make?
And I'm a fan of a big header, but you're right. It depends on what the combo is. And the big thing, though, that is, again, it just depends on the application and what you can fit where. The cool thing about that, because that looks like they stubbed that thing with frame rails, so that is way easier to build headers on than a lot of stuff is. But building headers is still a very time-consuming and often frustrating job if you are not the right kind of person for doing it. Because
I don't know if I'm the right kind of person, but I'm a person to do it.
Who was the guy that I can't remember his name, but the dude that we went over and he was building headers in the shop behind your shop years and years ago, and he's the guy that just travels around California.
That's that guy from Arizona. I can't remember his name. Steve.
That's right, Arizona. This dude, Aaron, all he does is builds headers. That's all he does. And he's a little bit older guy. He's got a tiny little Miller MIG welder, or not MIG welder, TIG welder.
The little 675 plasma cutter.
Yeah, the little suitcase model, He tells you what to order, and the material is there when he gets there, and he literally just builds them until they're done. And he makes, gorgeous headers. And that's all he does for a living is just making headers. And the reality is,
I heard you can't get him on the phone anymore, though. You got to email him, and he emails you back when he's available.
I can't remember his name, but the dude
that does quality work.
He does really nice stuff.
Oh yeah,
but he likes to only do, and I could be wrong. Don't take this as a word of God or anything, but he only likes doing mild steel stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember anything about that part, but I know that when we saw him that day building stuff, I was like, this guy knows what he's doing. And I remember him telling us what it was, would cost. And I remember thinking, that's only a couple $100 more than an off-the-shelf header cost. And they're going to fit and come on and off and all the things. Like,
I think he charged $1,500.
Yeah, and like I have a set of headers that are a $1,500 set of headers if you bought them from Hooker today, and they're and they're not as nice. I mean, they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong for what they are, but they're not as nice as that guy's would have been.
Well, you can buy. You can
Doug
buy
says the dude did a set on Armin's 57. He knows the guy we're talking about. Yeah.
What's his name?
Rebel Driver says we should be discussing the booming craze of gassers these days. We'll talk about that on the next show because we are 4 minutes over right now. And I got stuff to do. So,
All right, brother.
everybody that
Nice
joined us
meeting you,
tonight, thank you so much. We
Nice meeting
appreciate
you,
it.
Crosby.
You too, brother.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us tonight, Crosby. Ryan
Anytime.
is at home getting ready to leave tomorrow for the Tailgate Throwdown. Again, that's going to be in Newport, Arkansas. I will be there as well. So if you're looking for somewhere fun to be this weekend, that is the place. I will do that, Doug. And come join us for sure. It's going to be an awesome drag race. I don't remember how many 100 and something trucks entered, if I remember right. And it should be a good time. I am going to have, it's already loaded up. I am going to have Bang Shift, Beards, Burnouts, and Beard, Power Shift, Bang Shift, and Shift Happens apparel for sale there, all loaded up in the truck. So
I don't even have a
I
Power
owe
Shift
you
shirt.
a tumbler, Aaron, and I'm also going to make some up and send to Crosby and Wickman and McTaggart as well. So
I'll trade you shirts.
yeah. Oh, I'll take it. And the next show that we have, I will give you guys a way to order your own for you guys that are out there watching right now. But I am not going to do that yet. But I will here in the next week or two. So you guys will be good to go. You guys can pick up your favorite Bang Shift apparel, including hats. This one, it probably looks really good on camera, but I kind of screwed it up a little bit making this one, so it's mine. I get any of the defects, right? You know?
We're all
Me and
little
Dad.
defects.
Dad has a defective one I gave him today as well, so.
Oh, okay.
All right, boys. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Stay out of trouble. And
Safe travels.
everybody out there, enjoy your weekend. Go racing. Go spend time at your racetrack. Spend money at your racetrack so that your racetrack stays open.
See ya.
Build race cars.
Yep.
Yep.
See ya.
All right. See ya.